everyone. Welcome to the Black and Gold. This is HiBruiNation, the unofficial home of your Boston Bruins. I'm Goose. We need to change that out. It's been rough. I'm Goosey, and I'm joined as always by the rest of the Bruce Squad, the Mr. Higmiser himself, and live from not Studio V, our vibe captain, Matty V. How we doing, boys?
Awful.
Getting ready to throw some dirt on the boys.
Awful.
Throwing some shade
again? From a great Four Nations break, and then the Bruins just ripped our hearts out in front of us, and then
yeah, buddy.
We'll get into it. The Sweeney presser today. Nothing looks good over at HiBruiNation.
Jeez, what a Debbie Downer. Higgy shaved his beard.
You see that? I was trying to get some juju. It didn't work.
What?
Buddy, do you not see that? That is not as full as it was. Like,
oh no, I've seen clean shaven. I thought you meant he went.
Dude, he looks
like. I did. It was like 2 weeks ago, though.
Buddy, you look like.
Did you?
Yeah, he looks like Murr from Impractical Jokers.
I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I should have went for the handlebar mustache again.
You really don't know? You think you look like Murr?
We should go mustaches again.
I said I don't know how I feel about that.
Oh, I'm just saying. That's all I'm saying. You look like Murr.
We should go mustaches again soon.
No, I don't think you guys could pull it. Actually, maybe Vogel. I feel like you just have that.
Oh no, Kyle's was mean. Kyle had a mean mustache.
This is Kyle.
No way.
I hate that.
Tell me that. Go ahead. Take a look at him. Tell me that is not Kyle.
No way.
Take two.
I'm logging off. I'm gone.
Oh, I gotta veto that.
You don't think he looks like him?
Thank you, Matt.
No, and I can tell that you've been sitting on this take for a while now.
No, I haven't. I've never seen him like this. So this is kind of like, it's interesting. He definitely does. He looks like Murr. I'm sorry. I don't know. Where are my Impractical Jokers fans? Apparently, I'm the only one. All right. Well, that's fine. You can disagree with me. It's okay. We're probably going to disagree during this podcast plenty enough. All right. We got a good show for you guys tonight. We're going to talk to Four Nations. And I'm pretty sure they're going to lay into me about how awesome it actually was and how much of a Debbie Downer I was. We're going to talk about Sweeney's presser, the Bruins' path going forward, and the week look ahead. We'll touch upon the only game that we played this week, which was so awesome. I can't wait to talk about it, but let's get into it with the Bear Down breakdown. All right, fellas, let's start with the Four Nations. It was awesome.
I'm not gonna really lay into you because I'm a.
Wait, hold on. Why are we laying into you? What's your take that's gonna get you laid into it?
He was so anti Four Nations. After the first couple games, I was like, Cam, this has to change your opinion on this, right? Like, this is so cool. And he said, it's meh. That's it.
Yeah, it took me a while to get into it.
He was out on the Four Nations.
To opinions, that's just a bad one.
Yeah, the Murr thing, the Four Nations thing. I'm not going to lay in because it ended up being really cool. We had a good stream for the championship. Didn't go our way, but what are you going to do? Thanks, Austin Matthews, for leaving the best player in the world wide open in the slot.
Yeah, that was crazy. I mean, it was a split decision, but
yeah. So Cam did not like it at first, and I would hope, and I'm sure he's going to let us know that his opinion changed.
Oh, my opinion absolutely changed, dude. Like it took probably a game or two for it to change my mind. I mean, like I said, I talked about it on Pucking Around that I just didn't think it was anything close to like what the Olympics were. Like that was the only downside to me. But I don't think you could have asked, like the Canada-US final, you couldn't have asked for a better hockey game out of recent memory, dude. Like it had everything: big hits, big saves, grindy goals, overtime. It was phenomenal. Only one power play the entire game, and it belonged to Canada, but whatever. It does to me. That was just a phenomenal hockey game to watch. Yeah. Some of the other games I could have done without, like Sweden, Finland, I could have done without that. That was a snooze fest.
Well, not every game's going to be a home run. Kyle, what did you think? I'm curious to think of what you thought of the whole thing.
So my frame of it is like, even taking it just beyond what it is itself, comparing it to what it's replacing. So like, this is your stand-in for the All-Star weekend. I typically like the All-Star weekend, but the All-Star game has been just bad for a long time. The guys don't care. The league basically has to throw fines at them for not showing up to it. So it's just like, you have to like force your players to even want to go to this thing. You replace that with an in-season tournament that the guys have been clamoring for because they want to do the international best on best sort of layout. So now you're trading one mediocre ass game for a mini tournament that everybody actually gets up for, gives you a best on best look, gives you so many different storylines and things to talk about, and who's playing where, who made the cut, who gets snubbed, that kind of thing. I just think that if you look at it compared to what we would have gotten if we stuck with the All-Star weekend, there's no way that you can't think that it was sick. Was it perfect? No, but I really thought it was a great product to watch, and especially going from watching our fuck ass team to then getting to watch that quality of hockey was just like, oh man, this is what we've been missing all year. So I had a great time.
That's one whistle for Higgy. It's a penalty. Yeah, dude. It took me, like I said, it took me a while to get into it. I loved the first Canada-US game. I loved the second one. I liked the Canada-Finland game where Finland almost came back. Canada almost shit themselves. And then Jordan Binnington had to stand on his effing head, in a game that arguably really mattered a lot to Canadians. So, my hat goes off to them. Amazing game. Can't wait to see everyone in the Olympics. The NHL hit a home run with the Four Nations. I gave in. I bought a jersey. I rep it. So we're up. We're cool. Vogel and Higgy definitely, Mr. Higmeiser definitely beat me to the punch on this. They were right, 100%.
Yeah, I initially going into it, I wasn't sure what to expect. I was never super into the All-Star game. I could tell you over the past week and a half, 2 weeks, I was more. What are we doing? I was more invested in. It just threw me all off. It was cool. The Four Nations.
Playing the goddamn. We're playing the helmet shuffle with our fucking heads on the screen.
I'm dizzy now. I don't know.
Whatever. We're going for it.
Yeah, no, it was cool. I think that they kind of rewrote the script for how to get people interested in an All-Star break or into a sport. I work with guys that have never even watched hockey before, and they were talking about the USA Canada game on Saturday, the first game with the 3 fights in 9 seconds. You had guys, like Kyle said, you had guys who actually cared. They were playing through injury because they wanted to represent their country. They wanted to win. I thought it was incredible, and I'm very interested to see what happens going forward. But I loved it. I loved every second of it.
Yeah, I mean, there's absolutely no question in my mind. So I don't know. Any final or overall?
What do you guys think is the
thoughts?
right interval for this? Do you think that this is something that they should roll out every year, or do you think you run the risk of it sort of losing the luster if you try to stick with this as being the answer every year? Like, do you do an every 2-year cadence or something like that? Have it maybe see if you can get it to fall like opposite the winter
The Olympics.
Olympic schedule or something?
That's what I was just going to say. If you do it too many, I also think that they should expand the Four Nations, maybe have other countries involved too. Obviously, not a whole slew of them like the Olympics, but I think some countries missed out. Like I know Russia, Czech.
They're
I think
not.
those guys.
They're not going to include Russia.
Why not?
Maybe if they start being nice.
Yeah, with everything that's going on, that was, I believe, already kind of hinted at that's the reason why they did not include Russia.
Is that why? I thought that was crazy.
No, it's the same. It's the same reason like the IIHF won't let them compete and stuff like that. Basically, they're just like
I think they are right.
No, they're not. Russia's not allowed in the
Still not.
IIHF. They're not allowed in the 2025 Summer Olympics yet, right? Yeah, because
They're allowed in the Winter Olympics, though, right?
No, I think the Olympics
I don't-
hasn't even allowed them. But
Not unless something's changed. I haven't like looked it up, but
Oh, I thought they were, because I know at first they were, and Rick said it before too on a couple of streams that Russia wasn't allowed in like international play or whatever. But this isn't international play.
no,
I think they're
it's
just sticking with
NHL strictly. But
I mean, it's an all-star
sort
game
of
where you name the
designated.
teams something. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. I also think it's hysterical that they were like trying to say like, oh, there's all these strict roster rules where like Hughes can't come in and play because you have this. You guys made this up 6 months ago. You made the rules. Just change the rules.
yeah,
Just
change the rules so
he
you can put the
plays
best
now. It's like
product.
we are in charge. It's like I don't.
That's
you
funny.
can't
I
do
didn't even
that.
think
Why?
of
Because
that.
the legacy of this event has been so long standing that you can't have him play. It'll go against the moral fabric of
You
this
made
tournament
the
that we
rules
made up
6
3 months ago.
Whatever, dude. Whatever. I mean, no.
Yeah.
The NHL already announced though, that they are going to do something, like on the offsetting years of the Olympics. So there is going to be like some World Cup of hockey. I believe that's already been announced in 2028 where they're going to do that. So I mean, that's going to be interesting. I think there should be more in-season tournaments like this. Maybe get rid of the All-Star game. I mean, or find a way to revamp it. The only thing I really like about the All-Star game is the cool skills competitions that you get to see.
Yeah, but if you decide to do this going forward, you could work into some kind of skills.
Yeah.
You could work that in.
Have you ever been?
No, I know you went to the LA a couple of years ago, right?
Yeah. Have you been to one, Cam?
No, I haven't. It hasn't been in Boston since the 90s.
Yeah, they actually that was the thing that I like the most is like they do a really good job of like making an event of it. So like you guys hit the Fan Fest in Boston for this, right? They did the same
I
thing
did,
for
yes.
like the All-Star game. They make like a whole weekend of it. So it's like it really is it's like a cool sort of expo type feeling where they have the fans involved. You can like bump into players and stuff like that. But again, it's just like if the guys don't care and can't get up for it, then it's just not going to work. Which it has been
Next
for
year,
a while. But
next year it's in the All-Star game is in New York, so we could potentially hit that. I think it's at the Islanders. What is that, UBS Arena?
Yeah, it's a new arena. Yeah.
So that's a possibility for us who want to take a trip down there.
No, that would be interesting. Yeah, I would love to do that. It'd be cool.
Close enough. Close enough wouldn't put us out.
Yeah, they're also doing the Olympics next year and the All-Star game, so they are doing both. So that's an interesting thing to do, or a thing to see. So that's cool.
Before we move on, shout out Brad Marchand. He got to win something before his career ended because it doesn't look like it's going to happen here anytime soon. But yeah, I mean all of Team Canada, they deserve that. So I mean, shout out Brad Marchand, good for him. Kyle
has a question.
But before we wrap up, do we want to touch on the thoughts on the injuries coming out of this tournament? Do we think that hampers their willingness to want to do this in the future? Like I mean, obviously we have a pretty big one that's on our radar. But then you got like Shea Theodore, you got Tkachuk. I think they just said it's done for the season. Brady's now out. I don't know if it's related to the tournament or something else. But
wait, Matty Tkachuk,
some pretty big names.
Matty's done for the season.
They said
I saw that there was a chance.
Season's in jeopardy, I think, is what they said. I don't think they've officially ruled him out.
I know it was a groin injury or something related to that.
It was something I think I saw it this morning that said like his season's in jeopardy.
But does that also mean just his whole year, or does that mean the rest of the season until playoffs?
I just saw the headline and I was like, I'm not reading about Tkachuk. He's off Team USA has been disbanded. I hate you again. Go away.
Yeah, isn't it funny? That was a prime example of some guys you love on your team, but once they're off, you can't stand them. Brad Marchand, obviously not this tournament, but it normally is one of them.
Nope, still hate Matty. Still hated him even on Team USA. I'd rather root for Austin Matthews, and that I just still don't like Matty Tkachuk.
All right, but any commentary, any thoughts on the volume of injuries to coming out of this?
It's a good point to bring up. I mean, will the league look at that and see how hard the guys are playing, and will that hinder the rest of the product for the rest of the year and for the playoffs? And I mean, who knows? If the Bruins were a playoff team, I mean, now you're going into finishing the year and going on a playoff run without your number one defenseman. So
I'm saying
with
Shea
that,
Theodore was he the guy for Vegas too, right? I don't really know what their depth chart looks like.
yeah, but yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it depends. It's definitely going to be something they keep in mind. But I mean, these guys, what are you going to tell them? Play less hard. You know, I don't think they'll get rid of it. I think that that this past tournament did so much for the league and for the game that I don't think they'll get rid of it altogether. But I think that that's probably conversations that'll be had. How do they minimize the injuries?
I mean, some of them were fluke injuries too. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's the non-contact injuries that you get worried about too. So, I mean, like McAvoy got checked into the goalpost by Joel Armida. So I mean, like, and then it caused an infection. Like, that some of it's just freaky, and the Bruins didn't like how that was handled. I mean, Shea Theodore, yeah, it was very unfortunate. You know, but they are impactful. These are huge, impactful guys too. Like, right, you're getting a lot of the best players and on the respective teams. So yeah, it is a lot to consider. Do I think they're going to look at it and they're going to be like, no, not really, because the reality of it is that this is going to be no different than any other hockey game. They're going to see it as no different than the risk at any other hockey game, and they're going to probably let the players decide that. And I bet you the players would still rather play for their country than not. So I feel like this would be a player decision, not a decision maker.
Well, it could be like the All-Star game too. Like you've heard of players opting out of the All-Star game if they're worried about injuries and they think that their team's going to make a run. They also could make the decision to not play.
Absolutely. There's no need for that. Yeah, they have said it's a completely optional tournament. Quinn Hughes opted out when he was initially done. So yeah, Pietrangelo opted out for Canada. So it's that they absolutely have that option. All right, let's go to Sweeney's press conference. Happened this morning. I don't remember the exact time when it did, but he basically addressed three main areas where Bruins fans kind of had serious concerns on. One being Hampus Lindholm, the other being Charlie McAvoy, and lastly, how the Bruins plan to approach the trade deadline. No surprise that Hampus Lindholm's season is over. With 25 games left, I feel like they're just not going to risk it, especially since he had completely injured his patella or fractured his patella. I believe that was the injury, and Sweeney had made that announcement today. The only thing that really pissed me off about that was that they knew for a long time that his season was done, based on the phrasing of his words. So that didn't make me too ecstatic. What did you guys have to think about his first point during the presser?
Vogel.
I think that it's similar to his comments about McAvoy. Like we knew Hampus Lindholm was out. The initial injury, they said it was 6 weeks, and that was how many months ago? 4 months ago, maybe. I forget exactly.
November.
Yeah,
November.
So 6 weeks would have been like December.
Yep.
So we knew something was wrong. He was good sign. He was out skating. I think the same reason why after this loss to the Ducks and the trade deadline coming up, and Sweeney decided to host this press conference, it seems like they know, or everyone knows now, what kind of direction they're going in, what their expectations are for the rest of the year. So, I mean, Lindholm correct me if I'm wrong, he's been skating, right, with the team, non-contact, obviously?
Before practices, I believe. I don't think
Is he
he's
skating by himself? Anyway,
I think
he's
so.
he's
I think
he's
he's
skating.
regressed, yeah.
Well, anyway, he's skating. Do I think that he would be ready to go and they're just holding him out? No, but I also think that kind of plays into why McAvoy right now has no timetable. Because he's been up. I haven't seen him skating, but yeah, that was a pretty tough injury, and he had surgery because of the infection and everything. But if they know that the season's pretty much a wash, because he essentially said that and Sweeney said that because he's a clown bitch in the press conference.
Tell me how
That
you
the
really feel,
season's
Bo.
over. So why bother try to rush Lindholm back? Why bother try to rush McAvoy back? Like, yeah, no kidding. There's no timetable because he has nothing to play for this year.
Yep. Same in what he said. The same thing about McAvoy too. No timetable. He's performing. I'm sorry, he's not performing. He's doing well. He's at home. Yada yada. Like he's saying all these things, and he's basically saying your top 2 defensemen are done for the season.
That's my point. So Lindholm's out for the year. Yeah, that stinks, but we haven't had him for the last 4 months. McAvoy, there's no timetable. Oh, like we're not going to say he's out for the year, but he's out for the year. Like, let's be honest, he's done.
Yeah, you're not going to bring him back and further risking a deeper injury or anything else like that. The guy was in the hospital for an infection.
Yeah, you're not going to rush him back for shirt off his back night at the Garden. Like, there's nothing for him to play for here.
Sweeney, mentioned that something about a surgery. So like let the team recover. Let's pivot and go to a retool over the summer and do what we need to do to get things done. But yeah, Sweeney's press conference, as usual, never gives me really the warm and fuzzies. So I don't know. Kyle, what are your thoughts on his points to Lindholm and McAvoy?
I think it, like Matt said, it kind of just points to the official unofficial resignation to what we've kind of known since the start of the season, which is just that this team doesn't have it. Obviously, we've been doing the fan song and dance of trying to talk ourselves into this team having something for the entire season, even though that time and time again they keep kind of just showing us that exactly what they are is middling at best. So as brutal as the press conference was with literally just nothing but bad news, I guess it was kind of nice to take it as a symbol of like okay, we're acknowledging where we're at. There's no more delusions here. So now it's prepping for what's next. It's prepping for how to fix what you got going on. And switching gears. And of course, they're going to play the middle game where they're saying, oh, we're still going to be prudent in making decisions that could help this team now, but an eye towards the future. So obviously, they're not going to say we're blowing it up or shutting it down. But it's a big change from them saying a couple weeks ago, basically, that they were still in the hunt and we got a playoff team here. So it's just like the tone is certainly changed. And when you're again saying that your top 2 defensemen are more or less done, if not for the season, at least for the foreseeable future. And you got Nikita Zadorov.
Do you have a tab open, Cam? What's going on here?
No, he was lagging a bit, but he was going on a good rant.
Oh.
Fuck you, Cam.
But you didn't hear the graduation music?
No, I did. That's why I thought there was something open on your computer you didn't realize.
No. You gotta just roll with the punches, Iggy. You gotta roll with the punches. Yo, you were going. Keep going.
Oh, I'm fucking off track now.
Dude, he's got the music. He's shifting the windows around.
Yeah,
he's really playing mind games over here.
Fucking, I got ADD. It's bad enough I can't even pay attention. Moral of the story is we can just agree that this team kind of sucks and can get ready for what's coming next now. So no more trying to convince ourselves that they're not ass.
I think you worded it perfectly. Like this press conference was like the official, unofficial throwing in the towel on the season.
Turning the page. It's on to the next.
Yeah, let's pivot and how are we going to go forward? Which also is interesting because he did make some comments about the trade deadline this year. Cam, I don't know if you have the exact quote with you, but in less words, he said, we're looking to trade. We're open to trading some of our players, and we're also not going to be overly aggressive in pursuing players. And that is paraphrasing. I don't know the exact quote, but that seemed to be the tone of what he was saying.
Yeah, his comments were very. He mentioned about historically them being very aggressive at the trade deadline, especially when they had some stronger belief in the team and the direction of the team that it was going. It seemed more passive aggressive, meaning that They're going to look to probably make hockey trades. He was asked about selling strongly, and he didn't seem like he responded well to that. It seemed more like he doesn't want to sell fully, but he does want to attain assets. He does want to make he said his approach is going to be more or less conservative. So I would imagine that being he's going to keep the players he believes are going to be here long term, and I believe he's going to trade away the players that he believes are going to provide the best assets that he can get a return for. So you'll still see a relative roster intact by the end of the season.
Fuck that.
But I think
Sell them all.
no, dude, I'm actually with Sweeney.
Yeah,
I said
I'm not nailed down.
No, I'm a soft sell, dude. I'm a soft sell. I don't. You're not going to get $1 billion first round picks.
You look like
Sell, baby, sell. I am so on the opposites. Anyone who's not named David Pastrnak or Jeremy Swayman is up for grabs.
Okay, but you can't though, because this team has 10 players on it that have some form of trade protection. We have 5 full no movement clauses that you can't touch, and then you have 5 modified no movement / modified no trade clauses. So like it's by the way, that's a combination of the two there. But I mean, taking a look at them, for your no movement clauses, $5 million in Zadorov, 7.75 in Elias Lindholm, 11.25 in Pastrnak, 6.5 in Hampus Lindholm, 9.5 in Charlie McAvoy. You can't move these guys. You can't move them.
Are they nailed down?
Yes.
No, they're not.
I'd argue that they're close. They're close. They got some. They tried to throw some nails in there for sure.
These guys,
their nails are rusty.
These guys at least have like 4 years on their deal left at minimum. So you can't. They're nailed. You can't move them. And even then,
at this point,
and even then, Kyle, like
those
no movement clause
last offseason are looking pretty bad.
Yeah, like Zadorov might be like paperclip down. Like I'm so ready to get rid of him.
You can't. Okay, you can't move any player with a no movement clause without the consent of the player, and they're not going to consent.
I know how a no movement clause works.
Well, you sound confused, buddy. All I'm saying.
I am just angry with them. Let me be angry.
You be angry, buddy. But like I'm just saying, these are the guys that you're locked into. You're not going to get rid of them. You're stuck. All right, like we gotta move on. We gotta get over it.
We say that now, but didn't they basically? What's his name? And I'm not saying that they're not going to, nor do I think they should. But didn't Trouba have a no move, and then they basically just bullied him into going away?
Yeah, but that's not going to happen.
It's like it is possible. It is most certainly possible. Yeah. Like, hey, Nick, how would you like to go play in Providence?
In all seriousness, I mean, you guys know how I feel about McAvoy.
No,
the only person on this graphic, and for those listening, it's still it's Zadorov, Lindholm, Pastrnak, actually both Lindholms and McAvoy. I'm fine with keeping obviously Pastrnak, Lindholm and Lindholm. I'm fine with that. Do I think we paid Elias Lindholm a little too much? Yeah, maybe, but I mean, what are you going to do at this point? That Zadorov contract, man, though. How long is he signed until? Like, what's he signed through?
He has a full no movement clause until
years
contract.
Oh man, that's going to be tough. Unless he can turn his play around, it's going to be
years
tough.
Have a full NMC. Year 4 and year 5, we can move him.
I was so high on him beginning of the year too. I was so hyped that he could.
Everyone was.
Yeah, and it just.
Not me.
Hampus Lindholm kind of got screwed.
Not Kyle. Sorry, everyone but Kyle.
Okay, sorry.
And then you have
that fucking. I thought it was like, oh, this is stupid.
And then you have your 5 modified no trade clause and 5 modified the combination of the 2 NMCs. You have Charlie Coyle, who's not nailed down, mind you.
Smell ya.
Zaka, who's not nailed down. Marchand's on a contract deal.
Smell ya.
I'm sorry, on a contract. Oh, I'm not trading Marchand. You'll get a hell of a return from him, but then I don't know. What do you do with that? You can easily get a first round pick, a second round pick, and probably a B+ prospect
Well, out of all these guys, you're going to get the most in return. They're not going to move him anyway, so I mean, it's pointless
No.
to go over hypotheticals like this.
And
But if
and
they
he
did
ex-
and they got the right return, I wouldn't be mad at that.
and then Sweeney actually explicitly said he's going to work with Marchand. Now, I bet you if a deal is not in place by the trade deadline, Marchand will be moved.
Well, didn't he say that like within the next 2 weeks they should know what direction they're going to go in? Which was
Yeah.
again was weird, vague. Sweeney's so dumb.
Just,
It was just
just
vague
for him
bullshit.
specifically, you mean?
Yes, he said they were in talks, but they should come to. And again, I am for sure paraphrasing. I this might not even be right. I think he said that in a nutshell, they're going to come to a decision one way or the other in the next 2 weeks.
He doesn't have a plan.
Well, that's funny that he said 2 weeks because that would bring you to the trade deadline, right?
I think that was Eddie.
Yeah.
A little,
no, he has
a
no
little
plan.
under 2 weeks.
He has
so.
no plan. He has no plan. There's no
And
plan.
if that's wrong and I completely misquoted that, somebody please let me know.
No, he should.
I'm not ready to die on that hill.
No, he did. He said we're going to
Yeah.
see where we are. His whole thing was about like, well, we're going to see where we are in 2 weeks. How about this? You're 27, 24, and 7. Take the L, rebuild or retool. I'm sorry, not rebuild, retool yourself. I mean, like you got Charlie Coyle making 5 1/4. You got Pavel Zacha, who I'll keep Zacha. I'll re-sign Marchand if he was willing to take a deal. I'm not willing to trade Carlo yet. I think he would have actually more value next year if he doesn't, perform. But he's been one of your consistent defensemen his entire career here. Jonas Korpisalo, find a way to get rid of him. Offer a third round. I don't give a shit. Find a way to get the fuck out of that. You need that $3 million going into the offseason. You have Michael DiPietro and Brandon Bussey down in Providence, both having good years. You can move on from Korpisalo, and that's not fair to Korpisalo, but you should have never taken on that $3 million contract.
In reality, I mean, it's easy. It's fun to joke around and say sell everything except the kitchen sink. But like in reality, I don't want to lose Coyle. I don't want to lose Carlo. Again, I don't want to lose Marchand, but he's been thrown around in trade talks.
People have said Edmonton.
I heard that. I have heard that.
I think what it comes down,
but Edmonton doesn't have the pieces we want.
What it comes down to is this team, as it's constructed, doesn't work. I think individually, if we look at certain pieces, we'll say, "Oh, I'd love to have that guy," or "I want him to stay around." But we can keep saying that, but they don't work together. So if we get to the point where we're saying all we're doing is changing out fringe pieces, like you're pulling out Frederick and you're pulling out a Geeky and a Brazeau and replacing those with other similar caliber
Frederick
players,
Geekys and Brezos,
is that a retool? Are you changing? Yeah, it's like, are you changing enough? You know what I mean? So it's like, as much as we want to say, like, I like Coyle too. I like Zacha a lot, but it's like somebody smarter than us needs to actually look at this roster and say, do these pieces work? Can we retool around this set of guys and have it actually work? Or is there something more that needs to change with the DNA of how this roster is constructed for there to be any actual traction gained here?
Of the current active roster, not including people down in Providence, because there will be some of these. The pending UFAs are Frederick, I would trade him. Brazeau would trade. Koepke, I would resign, maybe. Wotherspoon, I would not resign. Callahan, I may resign. The pending RFAs, again, on the active roster only, are Mason Lowry, I would resign him. Morgan Geeky would resign for a third line option or trade him depending on what we could get out of him. Wahlstrom, I would resign to give him an actual true opportunity. And then Beecher, I would also resign. Those are people they need to consider. Most of those, if not all of them, you can get on cheap deals. And that opens up you to actually get money if you can move Coyle out. Because right now, the Bruins are saturated at center and right wing. Lysell needs to come up. Merkulov needs to do a thing. You have people down in Providence.
Yeah, I hate to tell you, those guys aren't going to be around much longer.
No, maybe not.
Right now, I think that they're donezo.
Maybe
there's
not.
There's a great
and they're going to get a real shot on a different team.
Maybe.
Yeah, there's a great opening in the German Pro League that Wahlstrom will fit perfectly in.
I don't have my issue isn't with Wahlstrom. When you see people were really ragging on him, they're really ragging on everyone on the Bruins, or like the people who are just like, oh, look, Bruin. I'm like, yo, no one is having a good year on Boston. So to bring in a guy like Wahlstrom, who does have a ton of talent and has probably played on some of the worst New York Islanders teams I've ever seen in my entire life, that's always been saved by their goaltender, I'm willing to give Wahlstrom another opportunity to succeed here. At like what, $1.5 million, you're not going to take a flyer on him? That's stupid. You know what I mean? Like,
No, I'll find another guy.
I'm willing to know.
It's not that I'm not willing to give him specifically a shot. I just think that there are other Oliver Wallstroms out there that
and I think that there's tiers above that need to change.
I don't disagree.
I guess is what I'm saying.
you can spend that money elsewhere.
We're just talking about like changing accessories when like the framework is likely the issue here.
The problem with the Bruins this whole entire year is the fact that they have had not speed and skill. They have not had enough of that. Oliver Wahlstrom has brought that. The
Don't
coaching
you listen to the
environment.
radio? The problem is that Marchand and Parsons hate each other.
Yeah, the locker room's bad. That's what I hear.
Yeah,
has nothing to do with the fact that the roster stinks.
Well, maybe they'll have to do that. I don't know how much weight that Pasta and Marchand hate each other, because I don't know. I don't know what I'm willing to put stock in.
We're being facetious. Yeah.
But no, I wouldn't disagree that the locker room has an issue, but like some of these guys I am willing to bring back. I don't know who the issue is. And I've said this a lot, that I bet you it is Nikita Zadorov, because he's the one that puts you down the most. There's egos in that locker room, and I think he's one of them. McAvoy is another one of them, I think.
I think Kyle put it very well when somebody smarter than us has to take a look at the DNA of the team, figure out what's wrong, because we can sit here and talk about individual players, but I'm just reiterating what he said. Just something's not working. And we've said that before, but when I was going to say Claude Julien, holy shit. When Montgomery got fired, we said it a million times. There's something wrong, whether it's in the room. We don't know what it is, but firing Montgomery was putting a Band-Aid on it. Obviously, it was nice to have Sacco when he first started. We got a little bit of a bump, but the Band-Aid never fixed the problem. So there is a problem, whether it's in the room or with the construction of the team. I know none of us have the answer for it. Hopefully somebody else in the organization has an idea of what they want to do. It's probably not Sweeney, because he's a clown. But
well, regardless, he's going to be the one in charge of it at the trade deadline to fix the problem. So
which is horrifying.
The way I see it is he needs to find a way to get rid of the people that are really causing the problems. But the way I see it is that he needs to find a way to clearly get rid of the people that are causing the problems, and that's his job at this point. Yeah, I don't think he needs to make this team significantly better, but he needs to get rid of the cancers in the locker room. He needs to find maybe the alternate captains that will get him to where they need to be, or maybe it is Marchand that is not the true board leader. I don't know, and that we're never going to know that. We're never going to have anything come out about that.
Do you guys think that at this point, based on the firing of the coach and the way the season has gone, do you think that after this year, Sweeney's playing for his job? Do you think that if the offseason or the trade deadline doesn't go in the Bruins' favor, or he doesn't have the plan that the organization wants, do you think that he's in the hot seat, in the sense that the seat's hotter than it's ever been, and it's either fix it or go home?
He's long overstayed his welcome. I don't even think it's an argument.
Yeah,
I agree. But do you? Okay, and I don't think it's an argument that he should be fired. But we all know that he probably. I mean, it might not happen. I mean, logically that would make sense. But do you think that if things don't go, we're going to see a change in management if the trade deadline, if the offseason doesn't go as planned?
I think. I think
yes.
He should have been fired.
Yeah, it's like it's hard to gauge now, because you feel like it should have already happened, or at least there should have been rumors of it, and instead all they've done is say that he's our guy. So it's just like, well, if it should have happened 16 times already, how can we anticipate when it should happen? So
yeah, I guess my question is more.
I think with any sort of actual logic at this point, he's on his fourth coach. So it's like at what point did okay, so clearly somebody else is at fault here, and that would be you there, Chief.
Yeah,
No, he's not on his fourth coach.
I guess I should rephrase to, do you think that this is the last
fourth
straw?
once they bring in somebody for next season?
Yeah.
Yeah, true, fair. Assuming they don't give Joe Sacco the full-time job, which he should not. He should not have it.
I guess my question should have been, do you think that this year, with everything that's happened, will be yes, but will be the last straw in the eyes of the Boston Bruins?
I say you give him the trade deadline, and then that's it. You see what he does at the trade deadline, and if he doesn't at least get you a first-round pick and get you back a second-round pick this year, you need to move on from him, depending on what he gives up for it too. I'm fully convinced that he signed Elias Lindholm to save face because he got you your number one center, and Elias Lindholm can still be that number one center. They haven't figured it out, and they signed Zadorov again. It looked good at first, and then it turns out he leads the league in fucking penalties. So then there you go. That's another problem. I think so, if I'm not mistaken. But I will find that out, and I will correct myself on that. And another element to the game is that I think he brought in Tyler Johnson to attempt to save face, and it didn't work. So yes, Nikita Zadorov does still lead the league in penalties. By the way, Nikita Zadorov has 117 penalty minutes, leads the league.
Bad.
And I think he brought in Oliver Wahlstrom. So look at how we treated Tyler Johnson. Tyler Johnson is really not that bad of a depth forward. They didn't know what to do with him. They're just bringing in players to hope to fix the fucking problem, and that's not it. And I think he did the same thing with Oliver Wahlstrom. Brought him in expecting to think that was going to solve a problem.
I think he's literally at just the throw shit against the wall and hope that something sticks phase, and nothing has stuck.
Maybe. I'm still not completely willing to give up on a few of the guys that he's brought in. I'm not willing to give up on Wahlstrom. I'm not willing to give up on Lindholm. Zadorov, he's pushing that boundary.
He's cooked. And we're sewering him, but there are certain things that he's Sweeney's absolutely done well here. He's absolutely been annihilated by his awful drafting. So it's the awful drafting, and then the seeming flip flop of roster tight constructions. Because the one thing that I can't fault him for is I really think that his deadline work since he's been here has been really good. I think he's made pretty shrewd moves, added pieces that weren't just the typical go get the top guy out there. It's he put in work and actually identified interesting ads that bolstered the team. They weren't all perfect, and again, you had to blow out a ton of draft capital to do it. But I as a fan, I have really not much issue with a lot of his trade deadline work.
Here's my element.
Really drafting.
Here is the wild card standings for the Eastern Conference and why I think that well is finally dry. You only have 7 points separating ninth place in the wild card race from the second wild card spot and the first wild card spot. It is still a very tight race. So I would imagine maybe only Buffalo is going to be a huge seller. Pittsburgh, actually, has already announced that they're going to sell. But you have Philadelphia that might want to add because they're 5 points out. We're in such a conundrum in the East right now where the amount of sellers might be tight. So that is going to help with the market a bit. So he's going to have to.
That's gross.
Yeah. Minus 26. And people still want to blame Swayman. It's not just him. The whole team sucks.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is where I think the Bruins are in a precarious situation. That's why I'm saying soft sell. Just get some assets. Sell high on your centers because you're not going to need them. Sell high on your right wingers because you have that's your surplus right now. And hell, Michael Callahan has actually been pretty damn good, almost better than Mason Lohrei. So maybe trade Lohrei. I don't know. Figure it out. There's a whole bunch of avenues that this could take. But I'm giving Don Sweeney the trade deadline, and if he cannot acquire at least a first round pick or fix some portion of the depth or get either your top line right winger, your top line left winger, whatever the hell I'm saying, he's got to go. He has to have a plan in place, and right now I don't think he has the plan. Rant over.
Yeah, play the music for you, bitch.
Bitch.
I will. How do you do a rant?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, everything stinks.
It's fine.
Everything stinks. I mean, it's probably good. It's a good time to, if you guys want to. We don't have to go super hard on it. The game we just lost to the fucking Ducks. I mean,
It's just real quick. I'm
All
just
right,
going to
so
sum it up.
that I think is the go.
Shot missed. Shot ourselves in the foot. Defensive breakdowns. Nothing else that we've seen. Nothing new. That's all I have to say on it.
you could clip any other past episode and it would describe this game.
Yep. We all have this game
I'm
to
so
win
good
too.
that is the best thing to come out of this stupid press conference is that we no longer have to overanalyze these games and try to see what silver linings can we pull out of this. Like, nope, fuck you guys, stupid ass team. I don't have to try and dig hard into a November game against fucking Ottawa to see what it means for the future. It's like, nope, they painted what the future is. We can just start to look about what comes next. So I don't need to know what they did right and wrong against the Ducks because you lost to the fucking Ducks.
Yeah,
fucking losers. By the way, the in-season competition update. Since I'm just gonna.
I kind of forget. I knew I was making a sneaky.
You are making a sneaky comeback, buddy.
Some sneaky progress.
There has been no position changes in the last few weeks, obviously because we have
Oh god, Ovechkin got a hat trick today.
But
he's what, 13 away now? Sorry, Kim, go ahead.
You are fine, buddy. Go Ovechkin. I'm hoping he breaks that record. But anyway, in first place, we have myself at 65.5%. Second place is Higgy with 60.4%. And Vogel has been making a comeback with 58.9%. You are only 5% away from Higgy?
I'm coming for you.
That's not bad. So, Higgy, you got to watch yourself. I think we all got to watch ourselves.
I'm coming for you.
No chance.
No chance. All right, so that's really it on the Ducks, right, guys? There's really nothing we need to say. The overtime goal was a big fucking load of bullshit. Leo Carlson left wide open, defensive breakdown, blah, 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 blah. Yay, Trevor Ziegler showed some skill. Woohoo, awesome. We shouldn't have even won that game anyway with the way they played. Awful.
Winnable game. Scoring chances, and they couldn't capitalize on it. It's the story of the entire season.
Vomit. That's all I got to say. Just big turd muffins right there. That was the game. All right, we look ahead. Let's quickly do this because we don't have a big bad Bruin because there are no big bad Bruins. They're all big bad Cubs. And we also didn't have a game in the last 2 weeks outside for the Ducks, and so it was really hard to pick literally anyone. Hey, by the way, Pasternak, I think it's on a 14-game point streak.
He is. That's one positive.
That's the only positive. Actually, you want to know what? Fuck it. David Pasternak, he's the big bad Bruin of the week. There you go. Congratulations, David Pasternak, for being the only Bruin who actually gives a shit about this goddamn team outside of us. So, there we go.
I'm all right with that. Not much else happening. Yeah. Congratulations, Pasternak.
Geez, you know what? I really wish I heard that goal horn at least one more fucking time in overtime last night against the Anaheim Ducks. That would have been great, wouldn't it?
Sell, baby, sell.
Yeah, I would say nope. Send us to the bottom.
All right, the week look ahead. We got 3 games. We got the Maple Leafs on Tuesday, the Islanders on Thursday, and the Penguins on Saturday. Another fucking matinee game with the Penguins on Saturday, 3 p.m. How many is that this year?
There's a lot. We had
literally all of them.
Disgusting.
82 matinees.
Boo. Oh, man. Yeah. Maple Leafs, loss. Islanders, win. Penguins, loss for me.
Kyle.
I think I had the same. I plugged it into the...
Yeah. Kyle has loss, win, loss as well.
Yep.
All right. I am going to go...
I could certainly see it going straight L's, but I feel like they'll pull out one of them.
That's what
I'm going to go loss, win, win.
Oh, vibe captain.
Yeah,
Woo!
I'm going a loss to the Maple Leafs, which I'm gonna hate, but what are you gonna do? And then they're gonna win out the rest of the week because the Penguins are trash. The
Tankathon.
Islanders are not as trash, but still trash. So loss, win. I still have a little bit of hope that we're not just gonna completely roll over and die, but we're already half dead. So loss, win.
All right. All right, boys. Vogel, take us out.
And there's not that many games left, so we have to. I have to start making some different picks than you guys if I want to make any progress.
Hey, that could work in your favor. That could also not work in your favor, buddy. So, actually, you know what? For the rest of the season, Higgy and I are just gonna pick the exact same team picks as you, just so that nothing changes.
Oh man, that would be a bummer for me.
I
All
think
right, I don't have the
it'll-
notes. I don't have the notes in front of me. Kyle, unless you want to take us out, I can go off the cuff on this.
Yeah, just make it up on the fly, just like the Bruins have been
All
doing the
right,
entire.
this is what, episode 33.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that will do it for episode 33 of HiBruiNation. After the Bruins have officially called the season a wash. Make sure to follow us on all socials, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, whatever, MySpace, whatever you got. Give us a follow, shoot us a message. We love hearing from you guys. Check out our website, HiBruiNation.com. We have some blogs up there. Hopefully going to be a little more active on that. I think since the All-Star break, we all kind of, not slowed down, but we kind of enjoyed the break as much as everybody else. So that'll be up and running again. We'll see you next week. We love you guys, and as always, Kyle, what do we got?
Sell, baby, sell.
Sell, baby, sell.
Good night, everybody.
Go Red Sox.